The Dustin Sekula Library held a Memorial Day program to remember the fallen soldiers from the City of Edinburg. Lisa Sekula was on hand to help attendees remember her son Dustin, who died April 1st, 2004 during Operation Iraqi Freedom.
I always like to remember the happy times and the good times that are yet, to happen. But I like to tell stories about Dustin Michael, some things that I like to, pass down so that they're good, fond memories, and I think it's important that we have to remember those times. So he was going to go to prom, and you know how that's about the time it is now, I think, or did it pass? But anyway, it's an exciting time in a young person's life, and Dustin picked out a really, nice young lady and asked her to go to the prom. And she was a member of the church that we go to, and so it was a missionary family. And so I didn't know this, but they, I don't know if they didn't have the money for the dress, so Dustin Michael was working with his dad, and actually the money was given to that family, and she never knew that Dusty had bought the dress. And she looked beautiful. But the kicker of the deal is I was working at the mall, and it was a Saturday when this prom was supposed to be going on. And so I had gone with him to pick out a tuxedo, and he looked so handsome. And of course I was prejudiced, but so that day he had to work, and I had to work, so I was calling him, and he wouldn't answer the phone. So by the time I got home from my work, he had already taken off to the prom. Well, when he finished taking them out to dinner and all this, they double dated. When he finished, he called me, he said, "Mom," and by that time, se me había pasado. I mean, I wasn't upset anymore. I knew that he had gotten the girls and gone to the prom. So he calls me and he says, "Mom, I'm gonna come over because I want you to see us and take pictures." So he came over, and we took some really good pictures of him and his date, and his friend, best friend, and his date. But after Dusty was killed, I was eating with my family at a local restaurant, and this little girl comes up to me, and she worked there, and she said, "Miss Sekula, you don't know me, but I'm so-and-so," and she said, "I would like to just tell you what Dusty, you remember that how you were calling on the phone and leaving messages that you were upset because you couldn't find him?" She said, "Well, he had to ask my dad for his friend to be able to take this young lady, Dusty's best friend, to be able to take this young lady out. Dusty had to be the spokesperson. He spoke Spanish, and that daddy wasn't going to let that little girl go to the prom until somebody went and asked that daddy if that best friend could take." And since Dusty knew Spanish, and that's the way he was, he went, and so you can imagine, I didn't know any of this stuff, because that's the way that guy was. And so you can imagine, so this little girl's telling me, I'm the girl. She said, "And you know what's so funny? You should have seen Dusty at the prom, Miss Sekula, because that day he took me to the beauty shop to get things that girls get, and he had to be the one taking care of me because he's the one that asked if his best friend could go." I mean, and so I'm looking at this little girl, and yeah, my mouth is like, and I felt like, I looked up and I said, "Dusty, that was in character of who he was." So that's another story. Needless to say, he was just one of those kind of guys, he just failed to tell me that that's what he was doing. And I love him, I miss him so much, but I'm very thankful that I have 18 years with him. So thank you guys.